Hey guys, Solomon here. I hope you all are having a great day. Today's video, we are answering the question, what do we do as a Hippo player if our opponent castles queenside, right? This may seem scary. It may seem like, oh my gosh, castling queenside, I mean, 150 attack or not, pawns getting hurled down on the king side of the board. Do we need to just hang on and survive? Well, the answer is no. In fact, the moment that we see our opponent castling queenside, we need to think in an attacking mindset. We got to think attack. We got to think put the pressure on white as fast as we can, nearly every single time. Okay, now in this video, I'm going to be showing you, just a couple of examples of, expanding on the queen side and what happens if white tries to stop it. And then we're going to finish out by covering a portion of a game that I played recently, actually the tournament, in which case I got the National Master title by playing nothing but the Hippo. And yeah, I mean, my opponent castled queenside, so I started playing very aggressively the moment I saw that. Right. Let's look at a couple of examples of this. So let's say we see move like e4. I'm a big fan of g6. Okay. There's plenty of ways to get the Hippo started. I think, g6 and b6 are the most popular. I will say compared to b6, I think that g6 is pretty well suited, to face a queenside castle from white. Okay. Why is that? Well, two reasons. First off, we're getting our bishop on g7 quick, which is the bishop that's going to be putting the most pressure on our opponent's king. And the second reason is that if we start the game out with b6 and they castle queenside, as they are going to see later, we're really wanting to play a6 and b5, right? But notice we already played the move of b6 here, right? And then that's not bad. In fact, in the game I'm going to show you, I played b6 and then I went on to play the move of b5. But at the end of the day, if we're committing to b6 this early, we might actually end up moving this pawn twice, when really, if we play g6, we might just move it once. Okay, so that's just, a little plug for the move g6. But okay, let's say we finish out of that bishop, play d6. We're just playing normal chess here, right? Tucking our knight. Queen d2, we see that battery ram. We don't want to allow bishop h6. Let's play it ourselves. Okay, we see move like castling queenside. What do we do here? The moment that you see it, you got to think attack, right? What should black play here? Well, I like the move a6, looking at b5 starting to expand. It may seem like white can just start, hurling pawns down the side of the board. But at the end of the day, I think that black is the one that is better prepared for a launch. Okay. We're looking at b5. And notice here, if white plays a4, this doesn't slow down our attack. In fact, it kind of helps because we're playing b5 anyways. And now there's that much more tension. Now, some of y'all, and for good reason, may be asking, wait, isn't the whole point of a4 so that if b5, they just win a pawn? Well, they can win a pawn here, but we get more than enough compensation, okay? If they take on b5, we take back with the a pawn. Notice here, if knight takes rook a1, the game's over. That's it. The Hippo just won in 10 moves, okay? Who would have thought, right? A takes b5. And if bishop takes b5, okay, we're in check, but in that case, we can play a move like c6 and do a little knight dance, right? Knight d7, knight b6, activate that minor piece. If we see something like bishop b3, let's throw in a check. Let's advance in the center. Let's activate our light squared bishop, looking at, potential knight c4 move the next turn, attacking that queen. And this works absolutely fantastic. Putting pressure on white, completely owning this a file. Our queen also has a ton of maneuverability in a position like this to get into attacking spots, depending on which way this game goes. And don't forget about this idea of bishop f8 at some point, not right now, but at some point, maybe getting that dark squared bishop involved. But I think at the moment, the a file is completely open. The b file is semi-open. We have our hands full already. And it's really just a fun position, okay? The computer actually likes black here, and we're down a pawn. So that shows you that black has more than enough compensation to make up for it. Okay. And going back, let's say we play a move like knight b6, and white just goes, you know what, I'm playing b3. I'm going to act like this is a pawn. What are you going to do about it? Okay. Let's just keep kind of developing on that side of the board. Bishop d7. If you want to attack my pawn, I can play queen b8. Notice that this queen both defends and is kind of eyeing this b file. Okay. We see something like h4. We can take this bishop right off and now play c5. This may look crazy. And in all honesty, guys, I wanted to just show you this line because Stockfish found it and I thought it was cool. But this kind of shows you, really the potential that this queen-side attacking chess for black can have. Okay. Our queen, very active. Our rook, very active. This bishop also aimed towards the king side. White has to be careful. In fact, if white takes here, we just take that knight. Whole idea being, if you take our bishop, well, queen b2. That's a ball game. And if you play bishop takes d6, we're going to take on b3 with the bishop. And I mean, look, if you take the bishop, our queen flies in. That's not helping white. Okay. And if you take our queen, rook a1 with checkmate, and that is a ball game. Again, you don't have to memorize this. Okay, this is just some crazy line that Stockfish found, and I thought it was cool. So I thought I'd show it to you guys. But again, I mean, bishop takes c6. Isn't that a move right there? Bishop takes b3. I mean, goodness gracious. You know, threatening rook a1 with mate. But at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to do, right? We're trying to play a6 and b5, and if they play a4, that's actually just going to help our rook activate that much more. Okay, it's really tough for white to play this kind of position out correctly. Okay, let's look at another example. Okay, white develops. Okay, we're going with our hippo, just developing normally. Okay, let's say we play b6 because white here, I mean, they're probably going to castle kingside. Okay, b6 is totally fine. Queen d2, h6, we're just playing normal. Then we see g4 and we're like, okay, that's interesting. White's really, you know, not making this a safe space for their king if they want to go there. So we play something like knight d7 and they castle queenside. Again, the moment they play it, we got to start thinking about attacking chess. Okay, the principal go-to way to do this, a6 and b5. Okay, and again, if white plays a4, thank you, we're going to play b5 anyways. Okay, if here white takes, we take back. Yet again, if you take with the knight, rook a1, checkmate, game over. And if you capture with the bishop, we can actually just check anyways, force the knight back, get our pawn back almost immediately. Not to mention that this is a central pawn. We're attacking that knight. Something like queen e2, queen a8, beautiful move. Battery ram on the a file, battery ram from a8 to h1 with that queen and bishop. I mean, we got ideas like queen a2. We got ideas like bishop takes f3. I mean, white is in major trouble here. In fact, white is simply losing this. Okay. Now let's finish out by looking at an example in which case I was playing as black, right? In my recent tournament, my opponent plays this move e4. I go with my usual 1, 2, and 3. We have knight c3. I just continue normally here. Bishop d3, b6. Okay, by the way, guys, if white's castling at kingside, we don't necessarily always want to play a6 and then b5 right away. This could be later on in the game when we're more developed. This could be a move, but if you play this too early and there's not a king on c1, white can play a4 and start to kind of undermine those pawns, right? But obviously with the king there, they're just opening up their king. Okay, so in this case, I play the move b6, queen d2. Again, I don't want to allow that, so I'm going to play h6. h4 is played. If you play h5, I have g5 ready to go. I play knight d7, and white here decides to castle queenside. Okay, right? The moment they do that, the moment white plays this, I'm thinking, okay, let's get into an attacking mindset here, right? That's what I'm encouraging you guys to do, right? The moment they castle queenside in the hippo, you want to start developing, okay? Here we have a move like a6, white continues to g4. I play bishop b7, just finishing out development. I also thought that this bishop could be good because if white ever tries to push this pawn or even push here and they need support, I mean, this bishop's in a good spot, right? And at the end of the day, we're just developing. So I play bishop b7. White here continues with g5. And okay, let's just lock it down, right? Remember, guys, when we're attacking, we can't be tunnel visioned on one side of the board and not see the other. You know, we can't just start doing this kind of stuff and just let white, well, obviously they can't move forward, but, we don't want to let white just take a pawn and take a bishop and take a rook with a queen. We gotta play some defense too. We got to play back and forth. So in this case, I mean, white's putting a ton of pressure on h6 and we don't want the position to be open. So let's just play h5. It's locked up now. Now we can shift our focus over to the queen side now that we did that. Okay, in this kind of situation, a 2-on-2, it's going to be hard for white to take great control of this. So that being said, I mean, I think that in general here, h5 is a better idea for white so that they can try to get f4 at some point. Even then, I like black's game, but I think g5 here, and yeah, we're just able to lock it up. And okay, let's play attacking chess. b5, right? Knight h2. I play c5 here, starting to expand. Notice, if you play some kind of move, I'm actually threatening to fork your bishop and your knight. So white has to respond to this move. White takes, I capture back with the knight, f3, rook c8. None of these moves are, off the charts, not possible, Kasparov type stuff, right? It's just, we're just playing, solid chess. We see an open file, let's take it, right? I do too. Let's get our pieces over to the queen side. Let's get our pieces over to the queen side, right? Let's keep getting our pieces over to the queen side, right? Just keep getting those pieces over there. By the way, in the game, white could have played b4, but this is not very good. The computer actually likes knight takes e4. In the game, I was planning to play knight c4, and this is still winning. Not quite as, not quite as good as the stockfish line. Okay, sorry guys, but yeah, I mean, this is still good. If bishop takes, we can take that pawn off, and then we can decide to play attacking chess here, or we could even take with the queen. Right, queens are off the board, but we're still playing attacking chess, and we're up a pawn. Okay, this rook's coming over to c8. I mean, talk about a beautiful position for black. I mean, this is just, whew, not to mention that we're up a pawn, and yeah, I mean, it's a good game. Okay, so we play knight a5. White did not push to b4. We instead see the move of knight g3. I play knight a4, just continuing to bring my knights over here. Right now, I'm threatening this pawn on b2. White plays c3. I end up castling, partly so that this rook can get involved in the action as well. Okay. But from this point, I just continue to play aggressive and attacking chess. I can leave a link to that game down below in the description if you want to check that game out and you haven't already. But again, guys, key takeaway here, right? The biggest thing is just the mindset. When your opponent castles queenside, when you're playing the hippo, you don't need to panic and, oh my gosh, I need to just kind of hang on and try to, attack. Sometimes the best defense in a chess game is attacking, and a6 and b5 is very easy to pull off. Some of you may be wondering, okay, you keep talking about queenside, why don't we attack if the king castles on the king's side? Well, sometimes we do. Okay, but let me just share a general principle, okay? So, okay, there's been games I've played. There's been grandmaster games that I've looked at where Rajabov, for example, I mean, attacking on the king side, getting great space, going for it. But it's not always the best. Not always. Sometimes it is. But really the key thing to think about is that, let's just set up our final position, right? Our full thick-skinned hippo. Okay, obviously this is kind of a, interesting position. But let's just imagine for a second the king's on castle king side and these pawns aren't here. Let's just focus on the black side here, right? The reason that we can kind of attack on the queen side without much risk is because a move like b5 doesn't really jeopardize our king, right? It just doesn't. I mean, our king never feels less safe. But if we play g5 and we start expanding on the king side of the board, the king might feel a little bit loose, right? So that's something to think about. So you can still attack on the king side, but I would say whenever you see that castle queen side, you got to attack for two reasons. First off, you're not jeopardizing your king's safety at all when you expand on the queen side. And second, if white castles queen side, they're making it clear that they're trying to play aggressive and attacking chess. They are trying to wipe out that king side, and we got to beat them to the punch with a6, b5, as you saw in the game, c5, tucking knights, getting the rook on the c file, play aggressive, break the game open, and have fun. Thanks for watching today's video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to subscribe to this channel as well as hit that notification bell so that you don't miss out on anything coming your way. On top of that, I wanted to give a big shout out to my Patreon supporters for the month of October in 2023. We have some recently added benefits, and I would love for y'all to join the team. I'll see y'all in the next one.